Hello! Welcome to
Monday with the Mavens.
Oh, it feels so good to be with this one.
It's our December edition, you guys. We're back together. Emmy is home from vacation. If you didn't know, she got to go to Kauai with her family, and they had, I was really living vicariously through you. Like, some of the really things that they did are like bucket list items for me. Sorry. Sometimes we don't realize until we get on camera.
This girl has done more bucket list items than most people.
I feel really blessed. I've done a lot of things, but like there are a handful of things that you've done, especially on this last trip, that I was like, wow, that would be incredible. So anyway, if you don't know, go to her Instagram and you can check out some of her stories.
Thanks, bud. Yeah. It was such a good trip, you guys. It not even where we were, although that was incredible, like the things we got to do, just that like connected, undistracted family time. It doesn't happen enough. And so
you really have to purpose for it. Yeah.
And we can do that more at home too. Like we all can.
Yes, we can.
So, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit today.
We'll see, maybe.
Okay, so as usual, we are looking at two screens. So we have Instagram over here, Facebook over here. So if we're going back and forth and it's weird, that's why. But we're excited. We had a lot of questions come in that we put them all in a hat. This super cute hat. Haley wore this last night. She was a doll.
Thanks. It's because it was like literally the last day I could go before I had to wash my hair.
Oh, well,
so that's always a hat day.
So we've got questions. But if you have questions that you want to send in, we will keep an eye on the comment section and we will do our best to answer them. And I think we want to start by just doing a little bit of a dive into all things immune support, because I don't know where you live, but here in Southern Oregon, there are bugs going around. And we have a lot of clients and non-clients, family members, friends, that are just fighting all the things. Yeah. And so we just want to do a little bit of a dive. We get lots of questions, especially in the last week.
Yeah.
In terms of things that we can all be doing. One, to combat if you have a bug, and two, to prevent and strengthen your immune system.
Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of old wives' tales out there when it comes to immune support, and a lot of them I feel like are really based in truth and have merit.
Wives' tales or wise tales?
I've always said wives, old wives.
That makes more sense. I think I've always said
tales?
wise tales.
We're going to Google that later and figure it out, because I'm pretty certain it's old wives' tales.
Yeah. Which that does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
If you know, let us know.
Anyway, I think a lot of what people have done in the past has been really beneficial to what we currently do. So before we dive into like what we're going to talk about on the flyer on how to prevent colds or what to do when you do get a bug in your house, like I think that each family, and maybe not, but I think that a lot of families have like specific things that they rely on, that maybe it was things that your parents did for you when you were a kid. But one thing that my family does is like the second you feel a scratchy throat or a stuffy nose or maybe low energy, my kids are so good about it. They always tell me, Mom, I'm feeling like maybe I'm catching a cold, or, I just don't feel great. And I like load them up with vitamins, and we have a whole protocol. Yeah. And it's not anything like wooey. It's not anything weird. It's not anything outside the box. It doesn't require going to the doctor, unless, obviously, you need to go to the doctor if things are severe. Yeah. There's always a time when you need to do that. But like if it's just a common cold, common virus, there's so much you can do at home from a make yourself feel more comfortable standpoint. Also like things that you can really target. Like if a cold gets into your sinuses, there's things you can do there, and we'll talk about some of that stuff. But just my family in particular, it's called Wellness Formula. It's an over-the-counter. You can get it at any health food store, and we load up on this stuff. It is magic. We take a ton of it. You can't overdose. It's all natural. But Wellness Formula, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, all of those things, getting out into the sunlight, those things are really important. And just because you are taking your vitamins and you do it one day doesn't mean you're actually kicking the cold. Yeah. Like oftentimes you can feel like, at least for me, I can feel like the virus or whatever it is kind of hovering under the surface. Maybe I don't fully have a cold, but I know like my body's fighting something. I may be really low in energy. And so sometimes I'll be like, oh, I've taken my vitamins all week. I've done a really good job. I've been diligent. I can quit, or maybe I get lazy and I just don't think about it. And then the next thing I know, boom, I get hit with it because my body hasn't fully been able to kill the virus completely. So whatever you do, you should just make a daily habit of taking a handful of vitamins anyway, especially this time of year, which we'll talk about in a minute. But vitamin C, D, and zinc, I take those every single day, 365 days of the year, and I try not to ever miss, because that is what's going to ultimately help keep your immune system nice and strong and fighting those bugs.
Yeah. I mean, I echo everything that Haley just said. And I think taking it a step even further back, and we printed, this is one of the overviews. We have overviews on so many different topics for our clients. Some are free on our toolbox section of our website, but several are not. They're just for our clients. I don't think this Feeling Sick one is actually available on our website, but we do have an overview that just goes step by step. If you're feeling immune compromised, here's some things to do, especially if you're tracking. And so we're gonna just hit on some of these so that we can be a little bit systematic in how we go through it. But I think taking a step back, even more so than already feeling like you might be a little bit immune compromised or that you're coming down with something, the things that you can do to just keep a really healthy immune system in general are all the things that we talk about, like understanding how to fuel your body and your brain, reducing inflammatory foods is huge, because the less inflammation you have in your body, the less opportunity that your body has to mutate those bacteria or whatever it's going to be, for them to like take hold of you, whether it's a virus or bacterial or whatever it may be. And then rest and knowing the necessity of recovery, which is something I'm still learning. And then hydration and sunlight, like Haley said, and deep restorative sleep. It's all the things, it's our pillars of wellness, right? It's all the things we talk about anyways, but all of those things are going to naturally set you up to have a healthier foundation, so that if you do get a bug, it's not going to be as bad, or you have the capacity to have a stronger immune system to fight it even more. Now, if you're ultra healthy, can you still get sick? Yeah, you can. I did recently. But you can have tools to combat it, and you need to listen to your body. And sometimes even the art of being in tune with how you're feeling, that takes a little bit of work. So let's just go through this. Now, this is written for people that are actively tracking. And so some of this will go in a little bit more detail, and some of it we won't. But you want to start?
Sure. So the first thing we have on here is communicate. I didn't read this before we hopped on, so I'm just reading it for the first time now. It's been a while. Anyway, if you are a client, if you are currently tracking your macros and you are feeling sick, communicate that with your coach. We do not want you to not listen to your body. And what I mean by that, if you are tracking your food, and let's say you're close to the top of your reverse and you're taking in a lot of calories, and you end up with a bug that causes you to lose your appetite completely, we do not want you to supersede how your body is feeling in order to hit your macros. Because oftentimes what happens when we're sick is our body takes a lot of the energy that we are giving it in the form of fuel, the form of rest, all of those things, and it is taking that energy and it is trying to build up our immune systems in order to fight the bugs that we have. So one of the reasons why we stop feeling hungry when we're sick, besides the fact that if you're nauseous or you have the flu, that's totally different. But if you have a cold and you lose your appetite, most of the time it is because your body is taking a lot of the energy that it normally would put towards digestion and digesting those foods, and it is putting it towards fighting off the bug and using your immune system to be boosted up in order to fight off whatever is getting you. So if I have a client who sends me a message and they're like, Haley, I don't feel good. I just can't hit my numbers. I'm going to tell them the same thing every single time. I'm going to say, you need to rest. Please don't worry about hitting your numbers. Here are a few things that you can try to implement in order to help you feel better. Take these vitamins. Also, like using bone broth as a fuel source. Bone broth is a fantastic source of protein. It is also immune boosting. It will give you the things that your body is wanting, and it's really gentle on your stomach. So even if you don't have an appetite, and we talk about hydration being a key, and maybe water doesn't sound good, if you could sip on bone broth, even a little bit of it, you're still getting the benefits of the protein while also getting the benefits of hydration, and that is going to help to fuel your body in order to help fight the bug that is trying to get you down. Yeah. So communicate with your coach. If your coach is just like, nope, sorry, power through, like, then have a real conversation with them and be like, I just don't feel good. Anyway, our coaches are really understanding and really want you to do your best. So make sure you listen to your body and you rest, and you also just communicate how you're feeling with your coach all the time.
All the time. And it depends. It depends on how long you're sick, how long you might undereat your assignment. All of those things go into play in terms of where we might restart you.
Yep.
The next thing, and Haley touched on this a little bit, is hydration. And anytime hydration is key, but especially when you're immune compromised, it's so important to remain hydrated. And like Haley also said, it can be difficult to desire cold water when you're not feeling well. So you can use things like bone broth, like hot herbal tea. And another thing that I think is additionally important, or maybe even more so important when you're not feeling well, a lot of people, they understand that they need electrolytes, and they might use something like Pedialyte, or the old adage of like Sprite and Toast. Like Sprite has zero electrolytes.
Or 7-Up. Like honestly, some of the things that our parents did were probably not.
They were making us sicker. They were inflating us.
They're not the best option.
Yeah, and so when you're sick, if you can utilize an electrolyte, some of the ones that we really like are Element. It's LMNT. I think it's Redmond's Relight. I haven't personally used that one, but a lot of our coaches really like that one. I think we have another one on here, Ultima. You really want to find an electrolyte that is not loaded with sugar, and you want to make sure it has the essential electrolytes of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. And that's really going to help you stay more hydrated, which is going to help you recover faster. Yep. It's also going to aid in your sleep, and we're going to talk about that. In fact, we're going to go into that next.
Yeah, so this one was really hard for me for many, many years. I was the person who I'd wake up if I felt sick or if I had a cold, even a fever sometimes, I would power through and I would go to the gym because God forbid I miss a day. And honestly, like I think that I was doing more damage to my body than actually taking a day to let my body rest and heal. And sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes your body's like, nope, you are laid up on the couch, you are sick, and you're not going anywhere. And I wish that in the past I would have been more cognizant of the clues that my body was giving me when I wasn't feeling well. And I wish that I wouldn't have powered through because, and I get this question a lot, maybe you do too, Emmy, from your clients, like, when should I exercise when I don't feel good and when should I not? And my rule of thumb currently is if you have a fever, you probably shouldn't be going to a gym and exercising. For one, you're exposing other people to your sickness, that's just not cool. But really, when you have a fever, your body needs to rest. And let's talk about fevers for just a second. Fevers are good for us. Like, the reason our body temperature goes up is because viruses cannot live at they live really well at 98.6. Like 98.6 is a great temperature for viruses to thrive and to really have a heyday inside your body. So our natural reaction to a virus sometimes is elevated temperature. And when that happens, it's a good thing. I know it can be really scary, especially if you have really little kids, but we're too quick to give medicine for fevers in order to reduce a fever when actually what the fever is doing is killing the virus that is making us sick. So viruses have a really hard time living at even 99 degrees, 100 degrees, 101 degrees. So our bodies heat up. It's our immune system working. It's good when you have a fever. I always tell my kids, like, oh, if you have a fever, I'm like, that's good. Let's rest. It's a good time to really relax. Let's, talk about things, whatever, use that time. But if you just have a cold, if you just have a sniffle, a runny nose, if it's not hindering your energy levels, then I say go ahead and work out. As long as you're being respectful of the people who you're exercising with, I think that that's okay. Yeah. But really listen to your body. If you wake up and you're supposed to go to the gym and you're just like, I'm so tired, don't power through that. Let your body rest.
It's important. I struggle with that one as well.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard, especially we have just been so trained to push through, especially, and I think a lot of this is women. Like
Yeah.
I don't have time to get sick. Like
Yeah.
I just don't have time. There's too much going on. I have too much stuff on my plate to like, to get sick. But honestly, like it is not fair. It's kind of the whole thing about, oh no, your phone is ringing. I hope that doesn't, I thought we made it so it wouldn't do that.
If you guys are on our Instagram live,
Oh, hold on.
if you could let us know if you can still hear us, that would be wonderful.
Oh, it was, sorry, Facebook. Instagram is, it's like, it's being real strange. Emmy got a phone call and we thought we turned off all of her stuff. That is so weird. Why is it doing
I
that?
have no idea. Okay. Oh, and now it's freezing. It. I'm so sorry.
People on
you
Facebook
guys.
are like, what is happening? But her Instagram is like blanking out and then coming back and then blanking out and then coming back.
Okay. I think we might be golden. If you guys are on Instagram, can you let us know if you can still hear us? Sometimes when I get a phone call, it doesn't allow sound to continue to come through. I might just need to restart it.
Oh, man.
Okay. Anybody? Kimmy, are you still there? I see you on there. I see if anybody can hear us. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Can you hear us on Instagram? Sorry, guys. Technology, my goodness. Sometimes it can be our best friend and our worst enemy.
It's freezing a lot too.
I kind of feel like maybe we should restart it.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
So I'm so sorry, Facebook. We're going to go in and we're going to restart our Instagram.
That's all right. I can just keep talking.
Okay,
Because I have a lot to say about sickness. One of the Emmy's son is homesick. He has a fever today. And so it's actually kind of fitting. Do you want to save that? Okay. It's kind of fitting that that's what we're talking about today. So anyway, fevers are not necessarily bad. And so if you're...
I'm just going to do a quick reintroduction.
Sure thing. Hang on.
Hello, guys. This is take 2 of
Monday with Mavens.
We started doing a deep dive into immune support, and we're going to be doing a ton of Q&A today. However, we had a little bit of a technological difficulty. So we are going to hopefully not have that with this one, and we're just going to keep diving through. From an immune standpoint, we've already talked about just communicating if you're tracking, communicating with your coach so that we can make modifications, or just having you not track closely for a season while you are immune compromised. We've talked about the importance of staying hydrated and some ways to do that. We just talked about rest, and we are getting ready to jump into nutrition. So
let's do it. Go ahead.
That?
Yep.
Okay, so when you are immune compromised, and this is important anytime, but especially when your body is trying to heal, when it's fighting something, you want to try to reduce inflammation as much as you can. Now, we want to do that all the time, and we talk about the role. Hi, buddy. I thought you were gonna put your arm around me.
Well, I thought about it, but I thought I'd just post up back here.
We talk about the role of inflammation a lot, and some of our clients are open to it and some are not, and that's okay. Technically, you can eat what you want as long as it fits within your macros, and we can move you through the process, and you will likely have progress. However, if you can start to minimize or reduce inflammatory foods, and we've talked about this a lot in the past, that's going to be dairy, that's going to be grains, that's going to be sugar, that's going to be alcohol, that's going to be seed oils, then that is going to allow your chronic long-term inflammation to be lower throughout your body. When you're sick, if you can reduce that inflammation further and really take that a step further, it's going to allow your body to heal faster, and it's not going to allow that virus or that bacteria to get as big of a hold and to continue to grasp. And so we talked about this just a little bit ago before we restarted this, but it's so easy to just munch on saltine crackers or toast and have something like Sprite or 7-Up. That is the worst thing you can do for yourself when you're sick.
Honestly.
You don't want to force feed yourself either, but you can do some simple swaps. Like if you like saltine crackers, think about using the Simple Mills almond flour crackers. It still has a salty crunch to it, but you're not going to be creating that inflammation. If you like something like Sprite or 7-Up, consider drinking, I love the taste of certain electrolytes, so consider drinking an electrolyte in your water, or hot herbal tea, like peppermint tea with a little bit of stevia or honey or something like that.
You can add your electrolyte to a bubbly also, and then, we should try that sometime.
We should try that sometime.
Good.
That does sound good.
Yeah, try that.
Yeah. So there's so many different things that you can do that will help reduce inflammation in your body. It'll help give your body a better foundation, give your gut a better foundation. We got a heart for that idea. I think that was for that idea. Anyway, so, we don't want to spend too much time on it. We talk about nutrition all the time, but especially when you are immune compromised, reducing those inflammatory foods, staying hydrated, resting, like really listening to your body. Those are going to be really important things. And then we're going to jump into one more, and then we're going to move on to our Q&A.
Yeah, so supplementation would be the last thing. And I had mentioned this at the very beginning. Sorry, Instagram. If you caught the very beginning, then good for you. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just say it again. There's so many things that you can do to boost your immune system once you get a bug. These are all things that I do throughout the year in order to help keep my immune system strong so that when I am confronted with a bug, that I don't get super sick. And honestly, like, knock on wood, I have not been sick for a long time. I've had a cold here and there, but honestly, I have not been sick in years. And I really think that a lot of it is due to the fact that I try to eat mostly non-inflammatory and I take my vitamins every day. So some vitamins that you can get at any natural food store, at any vitamin shop. Honestly, you can get them at Fred Meyer, Target, anywhere.
But make sure they're good.
You can get them from quality. Our website. Yeah. Thorne is where I get all of my supplements, except for there's a couple that I get from other places. But vitamin D, vitamin C, hold on. Vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. Those are the three that if you're not taking any vitamins currently, that you should be adding those 3 vitamins to your day. And if you take a vitamin D, you should take one that has a K component also, because your body absorbs vitamin D if you have vitamin K in your system. So they kind of go hand in hand. So the Thorne vitamin D, I think that it is vitamin D and K combined. And we will put a link. We'll put a link in the comments after this if you guys are interested in checking out the supplements from Thorne that we recommend.
I just think it's important when you're looking at supplementation. Supplements are just that, right? They're meant to supplement the natural things you're already doing. So there are times, I think this time of year in particular, when there's so much more illness going around, that we just need to boost our immune systems. We need to be better prepared to ward those things off. Yeah. And those things that Haley mentioned are more for immune support specifically. There are other things that I think are really important for us all to take every day.
Oh my goodness. She got another phone call. How on earth?
If you're on with us, can you let us know if you can still hear us on Instagram? I made it so that I wouldn't get phone calls, but
now she's getting you're getting more. We turned off all of the things.
We did get a comment here that says Relight and Bubbly is super good, which is Relight is one of the electrolytes that a lot of our coaches suggest. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to know. We're freezing again. I'm so sorry, Facebook, that you guys have to go through this today. Anybody that can confirm if you can hear us? Because we're just going to keep going.
Where's John Eaton when we need him?
I know. Can you hear us?
Yes? No? Yes? No? I feel like Kimmy would have told us.
Yeah. It's just freezing. It's doing that funky freezing thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we keep going.
I guess so.
Okay. Somebody will let us know if they can't hear us. Okay, what I was going to say is just the general ones.
IG is super glitchy.
Can you actually hear us, though?
Can you hear our words? Oh my gosh.
We have so much to say, so I don't want to lose it again.
I know.
I guess we, Lindsay, hi. It's so good to see you join. We are having some technical difficulties with Instagram. Are you able to tell us if you can hear us or not?
Audio in and out. Okay, so maybe if we wait until it stops glitching, then maybe our audio will come back.
Okay. Sounds great.
Out. Sorry, we're reading the comments on Instagram.
Okay. We're going to start this one more time.
Well, why don't we restart it? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. So frustrating. We've got to figure out a solution to the whole phone call.
I just don't know how to turn calls off.
Well, we'll Google it afterward.
Okay. Third time's the charm.
Hopefully.
We'll just maybe use this one for our...
We'll just have to keep it brief.
Hello, you guys, for a third time. Welcome to
Monday with the Mavens.
So this will be the recorded session that we'll share later. Unfortunately, you will miss all of the goodness we just talked about from immune support.
We will post it in our YouTube. So the entire thing, because I don't ever get phone calls, the entire thing will be posted over on our YouTube channel. And so you can totally check it out on YouTube later.
And so today we were talking first about immune support, things we can do to boost our immune system. And just quickly, we talked about the importance of hydration and some tips that you can do, the importance of rest and recovery, nutrition, supplementation. If you have any interest in those things, like Haley said, you can head over to our YouTube channel. You can check out the whole first part of this. But now we're going to jump into Q&A.
Yeah.
And so we had so many questions that were sent in. And we're really excited to just jump in. If you have questions that you didn't ask in advance, just put them in the comment section and we'll pay close attention, and we would love to see what you got for us. So
yeah, maybe say a quick prayer that her son doesn't call or anybody else, because this girl is real popular and people want to talk to her.
For whatever reason, and we'll figure this out, when I get a phone call, it glitches our live, even if I dismiss it. So we'll figure that out after the fact. I even turned my cellular data off thinking that I wouldn't get phone
turned
calls.
Wi-Fi calling off. Although it's whatever. Anyway, that's beside the point.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Let's see what kind of question.
Let's see.
I'll read and you answer, and then you read and I answer. Okay, great.
Okay.
How do I figure out my own macro numbers?
Ooh, well, that's a loaded question. So thanks, buddy.
I missed
picking my nose?
No, I missed.
Okay, so there are ways you could figure out your macro numbers. There's a lot of different online macro calculators out there. The problem is they don't take into account so many of the things that are unique to you, to your bio-individuality. So typically, they're going to take into account your gender, your height, your weight, your age, your activity level,
your goals.
Not all of them.
But...
Yeah. And so it would give you a starting number. Here's the problem. Everybody is so different, so different. We can have let's just use women for examples. We could have two women, similar weight, similar activity levels, with drastically different base metabolic rates, because there's a formula to figure out what the standard base metabolic rate is, which means the calories you burn at rest. But what we know is that we can influence your base metabolic rate, and that's why we don't give our clients stagnant assignments. We do find their starting place, but then we slowly and methodically shift that over time, shifting their macros, shifting their calories, so that we can get their metabolism really to fire, to respond, and we can influence that base metabolic rate so that you're burning more calories at rest. So the short answer is you could go online, you could put your information in, and you could get a one-time assignment. And you might have some progress if you stick to that for the short term. But best case scenario is that you work with somebody that really understands how and where to start you, what factors to take into consideration, and then how to shift you over time so that you can continue to work towards your goals. Our goal being, for the majority of our clients that are coming to us for body recomposition and fat loss, is to get their metabolism fully activated where they can eat a higher caloric intake, have a leaner body mass, and have it be a sustainable change because they're no longer depriving themselves. So, short answer is you can do it online.
Yep.
Long answer is that's not best case scenario. And if you want best case scenario, hire somebody that knows what they're doing to partner with you and to get you there so that you can learn along the way.
You can go to macromavens.life and click the hop on board button, and one of our coaches will reach out to you for a free consultation if you want.
Yeah. Okay, these are fun.
Yeah, I like these.
Can I do macros if I am a vegetarian or have food sensitivities?
No way.
Never.
Of course, yes. In fact, we have lots of vegetarians. We have lots of vegan clients. I have tons and tons of clients who are gluten-free, dairy-free, and all the other things that free. One of the things that I love, and I think it is one of the reasons why counting your macros and being on a nutrition plan that is macro-based is so sustainable, is because, for one of the things that an online macro calculator does not do is it does not look at your current lifestyle and what you're currently eating and the way that those foods impact your body.
Yeah.
And that is what we do as coaches. We go in and we look at your food diaries. We see what you're eating, how those foods impact your diet, and we can give you suggestions on, maybe you should replace this with that or this with the other. But long story short, yes, you can be a vegan, you can be a vegetarian, you can be gluten-free, you can be dairy-free, you can be all of the things, whatever it is. Egg-free, whatever it is. And there is a nutrition plan out there for you that will work to get you to your goals. And all of our coaches are so skilled and so knowledgeable about the different ways that people can eat to feel their best and still be fueled and hit their goals. So
one of our coaches is actually plant-based certified too.
Yeah, totally.
And so, and in addition to not only the nutrition component, we're going to work with our clients on things like deep restorative sleep and stress resilience and hydration and all the things that are really important just for longevity and wellness. So. Okay, moving on.
Let's see, what's this?
We're gonna make these quick because we've restarted this 3 times.
Right. Do you have to count macros forever once you reach your goals?
Nope.
Sure.
Nope. Some clients really like the control and the freedom that they have in tracking their food. They just really like it, and so they choose to do that. But once we have been able to work with you or whomever you may be working with, the goal would be that we've been able to get you to your goals or surpass them, or maybe they've changed along the way, and that you have a flexible enough metabolism that we can have you within a range, and that you know a plate easy enough to really know kind of what that looks like. And so once you get into maintenance, meaning we've taken you through a reverse, maybe a cut, and then reverse you back up, that latter part's really important. You don't want to stop at a cut. You want to reverse back up so you have that higher caloric intake to create that more flexibility. Then you're going to be able to maintain within that window, and you're going to know your plate and your food and what your body needs well enough to be able to eyeball it for the most part. So some people do that and then they choose to jump back in for a season. You'll have the knowledge and the tools to do it. So I think that's the glory.
Yeah.
You can, but you don't have to.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on. Ooh, I got 2. What are you grateful for today?
Oh man. Okay, well there's so much to be grateful for. I'm really great. My husband is home, you guys. He has been traveling literally for the last several months. And he's home for the foreseeable future, which just warms my heart so much. And then that's one thing, I'm going to say 3 things. That's one thing I'm thankful for. The second thing I'm thankful for, there's so many. The second thing I'm thankful for is that this one's home too, because, it's just not the same holding down the fort here without my partner in crime.
She really held down the fort too. She did all the things.
But it's not fun without you.
Aw, well,
it's way more fun with you. And then
that.
the third thing, I'm super thankful for my contractor who is coming to my house all the time and working to make my house finally feel like a home. So that's what I'm thankful for. I want you to answer this one too.
I'm thankful for the sunshine today. It's so warming and beautiful. And if you haven't, even if it's freezing, get outside and let the sunshine hit your face. I'm thankful for a really loving family. I am so thankful for that. Gosh, I could say so much more on that. And I am so thankful to be here, right now doing this with my bestie business partner. Who gets to do that? I love it.
We do.
I love it.
Okay. Well, that was actually your question.
What
so
are you
it's
guys grateful for?
Drop it in the box. Drop it in the box.
Yeah, we talk about this. In fact, we're doing a gratitude challenge right now. We have a 2-part challenge with our clients, and one of them is to write down every single day at the beginning of your day something you're grateful for. And
3 things.
It can impact your health. The simple act of expressing gratitude is good for your health.
Yes, it is. Okay. Ooh.
Oh boy. Oh, I don't even know what this one is.
What is a guilty pleasure that you're currently working through? Or maybe you're not working through. What is a guilty pleasure that you have?
Oh, I have a good amount.
You only have to share one.
Okay. A guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Chocolate chips.
It's true. Chocolate chips are a guilty pleasure
I
for
keep
her.
chocolate chips in my freezer, and if I'm in a season of tracking, I'll track them. But I just like a little handful of frozen chocolate chips. It's the best thing.
12
and you
times
can do
a day.
no. You can do the Lily's ones, which are sweetened with stevia. Yeah. I don't. I use the ones that do if I had enough of them, it would create inflammation. I don't have a ton, but I could eat a whole bag, but I don't.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, that was fun. I could have said something spicier, but I didn't.
You could just leave that right there and let everybody in the world think what they want to think.
This was an interesting question that came in. Do you need to be in ketosis or keep carbs low for macros to work?
That's a great question. And the short answer is no. In fact, we have a ton of clients who come to us having done keto for a really long time. Now, keto is one of those hot topics, a hot button issue item diet. Yeah. I've tried it, I've done it, and a lot of people have great success with keto, especially out of the gate and for a time. What I find, and what I have found with most of my clients who are former ketoians, I just made that up.
Ketoians,
I don't know if that's real. Former people who have done keto, is that it just really isn't sustainable. I mean, and especially like the way a lot of people look at keto is it's not a clean way to eat. And it's dirty. A lot of people eat dirty keto, which is like bacon and cheese and all of the things that like.
It's not what keto was intended to do. It's like bastardized keto.
Yeah. It's just so yes. The short answer is you do not need to be in ketosis. You do not need to eat low carb. In fact, oftentimes what happens when we have clients and who have been eating keto for many, many years is we really work with them to slow roll their carbohydrates and to increase them over time, because our bodies need carbohydrates. We were designed to take carbohydrates and to use them for quick energy. Yeah. It is part of our perfect design. Yeah. And I feel like it's really important that we don't ever eliminate any one of the macro groups. We don't want to eliminate protein, carbs, or fat. They each serve a specific purpose in our body. And without any one of those, our bodies will not function most optimally. Yeah. So carbs are super important. You do not need to be in ketosis. Ketosis has a time and a place for some people.
Especially diabetics.
Especially diabetics. And if we have lots of clients who are type 1 and type 2 diabetics, and we work with you on your carbohydrate intake, and your numbers obviously will look much different than other people's, but that's everybody. So anyway, if you're scared of carbohydrates or you're scared of joining a macro plan because you've been on keto for so long, and you're really nervous about carbs, please just be really upfront and honest, especially during your consult, that's where you're at, and we will help you. We will work through it with you, and we're not going to tell you have to eat 200 grams of carbs out of the gate. No. We would never in a million years do that.
Or maybe you never will eat 200 grams of carbs.
I will never eat 200 grams of carbohydrates. Like
the other thing is that if you haven't and you're interested, go back and listen to the live we did all about thyroid, because carbohydrates and restricting carbohydrates over a period of time can have a negative impact on your thyroid health. Yep. And so we just did that a couple weeks ago, and I think that's one that people have gone back and watched. And if you have questions on that, let us know. But it's so essential.
Totally.
Okay. Moving on.
Let's see. What do we have here? Tips to avoid all the holiday temptations.
Well, let's just do that. Okay. First of all, if there are things that you love this time of year, that are important to you, that are traditions that you really look forward to, don't deprive yourself of them. No. Like, just make a plan for it. If you are actively tracking, just track it ahead of time, and maybe just don't overindulge. Have whatever serving is going to work for your numbers, and then work around it. So track it first, work around it. I'd also suggest trying to eat it later in your day and not eating it on an empty stomach. And so, yes, most holiday goodies will create some form of inflammation over time. But if it's something you have here and there and you really enjoy it, pre-track it. Make sure that you eat it after you've eaten some form of protein and fat so that you're more satiated and you're not going to get as much of a blood sugar spike. And also just don't overindulge, which I know that can be really hard this time of year. There are so many temptations in break rooms, things, people dropping stuff off, things you like to bake. The other thing is there's amazing, delicious options and recipes that are less inflammatory. They might still be higher glycemic if you're using things like honey or maple syrup but
syrup?
Maple syrup?
Do you say syrup?
Syrup.
Like, you don't say syrup?
No, it's syrup.
It's been a while since we argued over pronunciation of words.
Last night?
What was it last night?
Well, I guess that was life coat versus
Oh, that is coming at you here shortly. We are going to post a poll on our Instagram, and you people are going to be the ones.
You people
are going to be the ones who are going to decide.
Kimmy says it's
syrup. No. S-U-R. Sir.
That would be S-I-R. Sir.
No. If she wrote S-I-R, you would have said syrup.
Okay.
She's being very clear that it is syrup.
Okay, anyways, there are less inflammatory things you can cook. Like there's delicious options out there that can use things like almond flour, coconut oil. They like
syrup.
No, Kimmy says you're the right one.
I know.
I think it's syrup.
Syrup.
Anyways, so if you have something you love, absolutely pre-track it. If you know you're going to have something that evening, put it in ahead of time, work around it. Just go in making sure that you're satiated, that you've had some form of protein, some form of fat. Make sure that you're not feeling deprived, because it's going to be so much harder to stay on track. And so if you have things you love, fit them in. I know we talk about inflammation, and yes, that is absolutely a component. There's less inflammatory options, but you don't have to feel like you're missing out over the holidays. You can find things that fit within your macros. You can fit the things in you love. Just be smart about it.
Yeah, and don't start your day with a big sugary treat, because you're just setting yourself up for failure for the rest of the day. You will want, it'll send the crazy dopamine and serotonin hit to your brain that you won't be able to control later. If you could just wait until later on in the day, eat your protein and your fat first, and then allow yourself that treat, you will thank yourself later. Yeah. It's kind of like, why do we give pastries and donuts like in the morning to people?
Or when you go to a restaurant and the first thing they serve you is bread or chips and salsa. Yeah. It is like worst case scenario. Yeah. If you guys have an interest in it.
It's actually smart business for restaurants, because it's just going to make you want more.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, sooner.
Yeah. But what happens, and a really good follow is the Glucose Goddess, if you guys are not already following her. For you guys on Facebook, it's an Instagram account. But what she does is she really looks at the impact of order of food. And we don't want to get too technical. Like, we want people to just be able to eat and enjoy their food and not have to get over technical. However, one simple thing you can do is always starting your plate or your feeding window or whatever you want to call it with some form of protein and some form of fat, because it's going to satiate you more, but it's also going to allow whatever carbohydrate you follow with to not have as much of an impact on your blood sugar levels, so that you're not going to have that spike and then that crash. So it's going to help you with that long-term sustained energy throughout the day too. But she'll take food groups and she'll actually show you comparing two similar type foods and the impact on the majority of people. We all respond a little bit differently, but the majority of people's blood sugars. And then she'll take the same foods and change the order of them and show you in these really simplified graphs. And I always find it so interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's really fascinating.
Okay, next question.
Follow. Yeah. Wait, you can't do that.
Yep, I can. I did it.
Gosh. Great. She's cheating, you guys.
Well, I want it to come later. Okay. Are daily weight fluctuations normal?
Yes, and yes. Our weight, you guys, I feel like I say this over and over. I feel like a broken record, especially like to my clients. When you step on the scale, that number is very arbitrary. It does not tell you what happened the day before. It does not say, oh, you had dinner an hour later than you normally do, so the scale's going to be up. It doesn't say, oh, you worked out really hard yesterday, and so there's more water and hydration in your muscles, and your muscles are inflamed. It doesn't tell you that. Yeah. It doesn't say, oh, you had a stressful day and you didn't sleep well, and so your weight is up. There are a million factors. Those are just a few, but there are literally a million factors that will cause the scale to go up or down. If you stand on the scale, let's say, for instance, you step on the scale today and you're 150 pounds, and tomorrow you step on it and you're 153 pounds. You did not gain 3 pounds of fat overnight. It does not work like that.
For the average person, you'd have to consume 3,500 excess calories for 1 pound of fat.
For 1 pound.
That's excess calories.
Yeah.
Like
that's over maintenance.
Yeah.
Over maintenance, right? Yeah. So let's say that my body burns 1,200 calories a day. I have to eat 3,500 calories more than that to gain 1 pound of fat.
And that would be with no movement.
Yeah. And so that is one of the reasons why we are just like We hate the fact that we are such slaves to the scale. The number on the scale is so arbitrary. Yes, it is a data point and we use it as a data point, but that is all. We do not want it to guide the decisions that we make day in and day out. Can it help you to make healthier decisions from time to time? Yes, but do not let a weight spike influence you. Do not let it be like, oh, I need to go on a cut. Oh my gosh, I'm gaining a ton of weight. It's not like that. Our bodies aren't like that. If you have a coach on your side, that your coach should be telling you spikes and valleys in your weight is totally normal. If your goal is fat loss over time, then having your daily weight spike and go down and down, your graph, your overall trajectory should be downward if that is your goal. However, there are going to be spikes and valleys along the way, and that is exactly what we want to see, because otherwise, there's something else going on that we need to look at. And so just don't let the scale control your life. It is just a number. In fact, if you have the kind of scale like a Fit Track or a Withing scale that'll record your weight in your phone, and you can throw a piece of tape over the actual number, if that is a trigger for you, then do that. And just know that it is a data point and that it shouldn't run your life.
We talked about this a lot in our Zoom earlier with our clients, because it is so easy to get hung up on that number on the scale, but there are so many other things, like Haley said, that influence that. One of the big ones right now, and we talked about immune system support earlier, is when you're fighting something, even if you're eating less, oftentimes you're going to have a spike on the scale because our bodies are more inflamed. So just know that. It's so interesting how all of those things come together. And then the other thing is making sure, we do like our clients to weigh themselves every day, not because we want them to be tied to the number, but because we want to see those overall data points. Because if you only weighed yourself once a week when you're working closely with a coach, then thank you.
My husband, who's a cinematographer, just said, lighting looks great, ladies.
We did all the things that you mentioned.
Took us a long time to figure it out.
So anyways, the reason that we want you to weigh yourself every day is if you did it just once a week, it might be on a morning that you did have a saltier meal the night before, that you ate later in the evening, that you had lack of sleep, that you had a hard workout the day before. All of those things are going to create short-term inflammation. It's not the same type of chronic inflammation we talk about that could create that spike. But we do suggest you weigh in the morning, first thing, after you've gone to the bathroom, before you've eaten or drank everything, just so that it is apples to apples comparison. But the other things that we monitor are so much more important. How is your energy? How are you sleeping? How is your mood? How are your clothes fitting? If you're tracking your body composition, looking at that apples to apples, oftentimes we'll see significant shifts off the scale.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Oh, my turn. I forget because sometimes you end the question and then I gotta ask another one.
This is one of hers. I don't know what she put in there.
What are you looking forward to the most in the new year?
Oh gosh, so much. Adventure and connection.
Oh, I like
and
that.
Opportunity. Adventure, connection, and opportunity.
That's great.
What are you looking forward to the most?
It's not my question. I wasn't going to answer.
I know, but we went back and forth on the gratitude one. We.
Let's see. I am looking forward to in the new year. So maybe not the next month, but the next following months. I'm being very specific. Definitely opportunity. Always adventure. Always travel. But opportunity, and I'm in a season right now with my kids where I'm watching them spread their wings and become young adults, and it's just so fun for me. Yeah. So anyway, looking forward to that.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, alcohol. Seems like it messes with my sleep and I see a spike on the scale. Why?
Oh yeah, totally messes with your sleep, and you totally will see a spike in the scale. Yeah. The way our bodies process alcohol is, so alcohol stays in our system, not just in our brains and makes you feel buzzed or whatever, but literally stays within our body, in our liver, much longer than other liquids. It takes a long time for our liver to process through the alcohol. So alcohol is also, depending on what you're drinking, it's a stimulant and then a relaxant. And so your brain One thing about alcohol, and if you haven't, and we should post this, I'm going to post a link to the Huberman podcast about alcohol.
It's excellent.
It is so good.
Yeah.
And it is like revolutionary. For people who are like social drinkers, I would consider myself that way. I typically don't drink at home often. But like I'll have an occasional glass of wine when I'm out with friends or whatever. And it like literally has changed the way I look at all of that. And I think it's really important. So one of the things he talks about is how alcohol is one of the only substances that can pass the blood-brain barrier. Mm-hmm. So our brains have this really protective, like our blood-brain barrier, like that goes around our skull. It's really protective and it keeps all of the nasties out of our brains. Well, alcohol passes through that barrier without like there's nothing keeping it out. Mm-hmm. And what it does to our brains is significant. And I don't know all of the details, and so I don't want to get into it necessarily, but listen to that podcast and you'll glean a lot of information about it. But one thing is alcohol is inflammatory by nature. So yes, you will retain water. Your body needs a lot of water to help process the alcohol through our system. So for one, you will retain water, and it is inflammatory. That is why the scale is up in the mornings after you drink, and it absolutely affects your sleep. And what it affects in your sleep is your deep sleep.
So important.
So important. I wear this Oura ring, and it tracks my sleep, and I can have a glass of wine at night and still get the same number of hours of sleep that night as I would any other night, but the amount of deep sleep I get is significantly less than on a night when I had zero alcohol. And what happens in your deep sleep state is your body cleans out all of your cells. So if you have a damaged cell in your body, our bodies are so smart, guys. It's incredible.
So sophisticated.
It will recycle that cell. So it'll take like the broken pieces of that cell and it'll repair, it'll fix, it'll get rid of if it needs to. All of like the nasties that are in our bodies and our cells, it's the clean out system. And it only happens in a couple different places. It's called autophagy. And it's when you are in your deep sleep state. And if you are not allowing your body to get into that deep sleep state, which that's why it's one of our pillars of health, is sleep is so critical. Yeah. But if you wake up foggy brained and you have a hard time like really getting with it in the morning, you might look at your sleep. If you're not getting enough deep sleep, your body's not given the chance to clean out all of the junk that it needs to from the day before. And that's what happens when you drink alcohol. You're not allowing yourself to get into that deep sleep state. You're not in control of it. Like that's just how your body responds. So instead you stay in like a REM state or a light sleep state for most of the night, which our bodies need that REM sleep also, but the balance is off. Yeah. And so especially somebody who drinks alcohol, Instagram just paused. Especially somebody who drinks alcohol like multiple nights a week, yeah. I can guarantee that your sleep is suffering because of it.
And your deep sleep happens in the first part of your sleep cycle typically. And so alcohol is having a bigger influence because if you drink it fairly close to bed, it's not going to allow you to get your resting heart rate down, and it's not going to allow you to get into that deep sleep in the first state of your sleep cycle. Then your body and your cells are not cleaning themselves out. You're not having that restorative process happens from a cellular standpoint, from a cognitive standpoint. It affects your metabolism. It affects your hormones. All of it. So we're not saying you can't ever drink alcohol. If it's something that's important to you or you enjoy it, like fit it in here and there, but maybe ask yourself the question, is it always important to you? And so two things. One, we're going to share the Huberman podcast. And then two, we do have on the toolbox of our website, macromavens.life, we have our deep restorative sleep overview that's available to anybody. And if you haven't already checked it out, please do, because you guys, sleep is so critical.
So yeah, more important than exercise, I would venture to say. Nutrition, maybe my order shifts from time to time.
Yeah.
But really nutrition, sleep, and then exercise. I'd put like in those hydration and
stress
fiber.
Resilience up there
yeah,
too.
honestly, but anyway. Okay. How to track and stay, we already talked about that.
Okay.
Stay on track through the holidays.
Yeah.
Is there one I shouldn't do?
No, you can do any of them.
What's better, focusing on macros or calories? And then probably one more, and then we should wrap.
Okay, focusing on macros or calories. So I would say that when you're looking at the overall picture, if you have a macro assignment, you're going to want to hit your macros every single day within plus minus 5 grams. And the reason for that is that specificity of hitting them day over day is going to allow your body to understand what's coming and going. And then it's going to allow us, if we're partnering with you, to then modify that week over week so that threshold can shift over time. That's part of the reason of what we call our reverse. If you're hitting your macros within +/-5, you're automatically hitting your calories. They might be off a little bit depending on what tracker you're using. In MyFitnessPal, you might find a range of like a ±100 somewhere in there. But don't worry, like if you are hitting your macros, that is exactly what we want to have happen. And that specificity over time is going to lend to results. It absolutely will. It might take longer for some people than others, but when you are consistent and you put that discipline over motivation, like it will happen. So I'd say macros all the way.
Amen.
Okay, let's see.
Look at her pick out the one she wants.
Are there any promotions coming up? We've been asked this question a lot lately.
Yeah, there is. We're not gonna tell you the details today. But yes, there is a end of the year promotion coming up for all of you guys who feel like the first of the year is such a great time to jump on board, get control of your health. There's no reason why you can't start today, you guys, honestly. But we do have something coming down the pipe and you're gonna want to get involved.
Not to say that you can't just jump in right now.
That's what I just said.
Oh, did you?
Clearly, she listens to all of the things I say.
I do. I listen to every word. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So if you have any, are you going to read another one?
No.
Oh. So if you're curious about macros and what we do here, if you are ready to hop on with us and you're like, yeah, I'm ready, let's do it. Why wait till January 1? Let's start today. What is it? December 5th, 4th,
yeah.
5th? Today is the day. Head over to macromavens.life, click the hop on board button. It doesn't commit you to anything. It just starts a conversation with one of our coaches. We would love to partner with you. You guys, we do this because it brings us so much joy to watch people live their best life.
Yeah.
It really is so fun for us. And so
we say it often, but the fact that we get to do what we do with each other and with all of you, like it really is a dream come true. Like we get to make an impact and you guys are the ones doing the work, but to get to be a part of that, like it's so satisfying because we see transformations day after day. Like you guys are changing your lives and the impact you're probably making on the people around you and doing that, it's probably super profound.
Yeah, so don't wait. Don't sit around. Don't wait for January 1. Start today. Macromavens.life, guys. Have a good week. We will catch you back here next time.
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for your patience, Instagram.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much.